Hey guys, how's it going? Kripparrian here. It's that time. Crafting guide for Rastakhan's Rumble. You guys have been constantly asking for it, but it's really tough for me to make a legitimate video on the topic until we have about a week's worth of play on ladder, so we can kind of see which decks are the front runners, and I can give you guys some actual good advice on the matter. So the cards I'm going to recommend to you guys, not all of them are from the expansion that had just come out. Some, are older cards because they're worth it. And I have a small consideration for the upcoming standard rotation. The next expansion we're going to get, the first expansion of 2019, is going to knock out 3 of the old sets. And I imagine there's going to be quite a meta shift. I've looked at some of the, current top decks in the game, like Odd Paladin. They're gonna start struggling a little bit. So I see a world where decks are going to be quite a bit less aggressive in the next expansion after this one, and that kind of weighs into some of my recommendations. So here we go. From this expansion, number 1, I have Zul'jin, best card in Rastakhan. Pretty clear. If you've seen what classes are doing work right now, you will see that out of the top 10 decks, there are at least 4, possibly up to 6 hunter decks among them. Hunters are doing notably well, and it is largely a result of Zul'jin kind of creating an alternate additional win condition. You just play Zul'jin, and the net effect of all the spells that you've played throughout that game is generally going to be insanely powerful. So yes, some of these spells will be going away in the next standard rotation, but so are like all the hero cards, and Zul'jin will have kind of like a monopoly on really good hero cards that are still in the game, except for maybe Warrior. And yeah, I just don't see this card going away anytime soon. It is the meta-defining card of the Rastakhan expansion. If you haven't tried Zul'jin, I mean, you've actually wanted to play Hunter at some point, here's your chance. Zul'jin is your man. Next up is Jan'alai. It's the Mage Loa. Right now, it's doing very well. Odd Mage is not going to go away in the next standard rotation, as well, Gen and Baku are staying in. But yes, Mage is losing some of its anti-aggro tools, so it will be a little bit weaker against aggro, but aggro is also dropping down a little bit. So I have faith that Odd Mage, just in general, Hero Power Mage should stick around, and the general high power level of Jan'alai should push through the upcoming expansions. The way I see it is, right now we have extreme card power level, and it's largely cards that are going to be cycling out from standard. So if Jan'alai is good enough to play right now, it'll very likely be good enough to play for the rest of the time that it's in standard. So Jan'alai should be a pretty safe craft for you guys. Number 3 on my list is Undasa. Undasa is seeing some play right now. It's not a crazy lot of play, but it's a very fun card. There are a lot of old decks that just throw in Undasa and like 1 or 2 other beasts, and it's basically like a new deck. So it's kind of like a deck enabling card in a way. It's a fun card, and once again, it's kind of rising just over the average power level of decks when we have like the most competitive, the highest power level of cards ever. So I have faith that in the upcoming expansions as they roll out, Undasa's power level should still be higher than most and should still see quite a bit of viability. 4th on my list is Masked Contender. This is an epic card. Most cards you should be crafting are not legendary even. Masked Contender, in my opinion, is the best epic card to craft. It's currently seeing play in Secret Hunter. Secret Hunter is one of the best versions of Hunter, and Hunter is just a tad behind Odd Paladin and nothing else. Hunter is very close to the top, so it's seeing very high level competitive play. And again, this power level should drop in the next few expansions, so it's just very, very good. I've even seen this card not in like some meta decks, but even just playing around legend ranks, I've seen Odd Mages included. I've just seen the odd decks kind of, toy with the card a little bit. The power level is just really high, and if you're planning on trying a Hunter list, well, Masked Contender should help you out there quite a bit. Last card from the Rastakhan expansion for me is Raiding Party. Raiding Party is a card that will be notably worse most likely when the standard rotation happens, but right now it's extremely powerful. It lets you play Kingsbane Rogue, basically. Kingsbane Rogue was like a tier 3 deck at the very best before, and now it's probably very near the top of the tier 2 decks. It's a very strong deck. It's a very fun deck. The overall power level of the card is absolutely broken right now, and I think would still be relatively strong in the future, even when Kingsbane is out. Just playing kind of like a pirate tempo deck, I've even seen a few of those rolling around ladder, and I've actually lost to some. So just the power level of the card is extremely high, and I know a lot of people have wanted to play a rogue that is an odd face rogue. So once again, here's your chance. From previous expansions, I have 2 picks for you guys. I have Baku and I have Gen. That's right, the 2 deck-enabling cards that are still front-runners in the meta right now, I imagine will be probably near the top of the list in the next year of content for Hearthstone. Baku and Gen were part of the Witchwood expansion, so they were part of this year's expansions, which means they will be standard viable in the next 3, in the next year of expansions. Now, most odd decks are actually losing a lot, and some even decks are actually losing a lot as well, but, you know, these are cards that they just get refueled expansion after expansion. There's going to be some really powerful cards, there's going to happen to be odd, there's going to be some very powerful even cards, just happen to be even cards, and people are going to make those decks from them. These cards just have extremely high power levels. They're the very best cards in the game right now. Like, Odd Paladin is the best deck in the game, and there's many odd decks, including Odd Mage, if you want to play or Janelize, that are very near the top as well. So you get to play them right now, and I can't imagine that they wouldn't be near the top in the next year of content. From the classic set, I have my last 3 recommendations. The first one is Baron Geddon. Baron Geddon is a card that always keeps popping up. He's seen viable play throughout the years, and we see him now in Odd Mage. I've seen him in some warrior lists. I feel like Baron Geddon will be good enough to see play as long as, at the very least, the odd decks are seeing play. There's not really that many very powerful board clears anymore, and Baron Geddon's kind of like the neutral, powerful, odd board clear. And, well, it's just a really cool card to have, very useful, highly recommended. After that, Blood Mage Thalnos. I believe Blood Mage Thalnos is seeing the most play from the classic legendaries. It's just, again, a card that fits naturally into just about any deck that just has a few spells. That's it. You got a few spells, you put in a Blood Mage Thalnos, and, well, he kind of fits his role. If you don't have a Blood Mage Thalnos in your collection, now is as good a time as any to invest in the Blood Mage. Last on my list is Leroy. Leroy, of course, is seeing play in just about all the aggressive-oriented odd decks. You got Odd Paladin, you got Odd Rogue, a few of the others. And anytime there's some kind of new minion-based combo, Leroy pops up again and again. So he's seeing play right now. He should stick around with the odd package that should be relatively powerful in the next year to come. And anytime there's any kind of minion combos that enter the game, Leroy's the first to say hello. So that's it. Hope you guys enjoy my recommendations. Let me know if you think some other cards deserve to make the list. And, well, we'll see what the future holds.